So Ted Cruz was at the event hosted by the Turning Point USA today, and he's had some words to say about liberal women. This is pretty unique and interesting. Please take a look.
Left is so bad. They're so unhappy. They're so pissed off. And by the way, if you were a liberal woman and you had to sleep with those weenies, you'd be pissed too.
Okay, so where should I begin? So first of all, I think you're the one being pissed here.
Left is so bad. They're so unhappy. They're so pissed off.
Maybe that's the first point I want to make. And second of all, before I get into how ridiculous this is, like I don't even have to explain, but I love how like the audience seemed like a little, taken back by what he said. Like this reminds me of the please clap moment that Jeb Bush had back in 2016.
Please clap.
You'd be pissed too.
Maybe this was very out of line even for conservatives in the audience, so there's that. And so if I get into the specifics of what he said, well, even though this is not a serious issue that I want to talk about, but I'm gonna talk about it anyways because I'm doing this clip. But when I hear things like this also applies to people like people being homophobic or transphobic. Like every accusation is a confession, right? So like, if you, for example, Jesse Lee Peterson, he was very conservative and he's very homophobic, but everyone knows what he was doing in his nighttime. So yeah, every accusation is a confession. So considering what Ted Cruz is accusing liberal women of doing, I'm not gonna go into specifics, but maybe Ted Cruz is the one having those horrible, miserable lives. So just saying. And so, and by the way, in more serious notes, like there are like real polls like asking women if they would rather date a liberal man or like conservative man, and most of those polls show that they prefer liberal men. I saw this poll the other day. I think it said that like the men that like Joe Rogan, like women tend to not like men like that. And I understand that like if you're like a conservative that doesn't respect women's rights, like why should you like that's it's obvious that women are not gonna like want to date someone that doesn't treat you equally. So this conservative movement right now is like very sexist and bigoted. Like that's pretty clear. That's why young people, men and women, are leaning towards leftist. Like if you have like basic common sense, like basic human rights common sense, then you wouldn't be a conservative like Ted Cruz. Like you wouldn't support them. The Republican Party has gone full MAGA, conspiracy theorists, racist bigots. So it's no wonder that people are being more progressive in the younger generation. I'm a fan of them as well. So there's that. And the another thing is like why don't you just look at the substance of what liberal women are being mad for? Like you like claim that they're just like angry for irrational reasons like that. Well, first of all, that's very misogynistic. Like why don't you accuse liberal men of like things like that? When liberal women say things like that, you accuse them of it's not even accusation. Like just that, like as you saw, even the conservatives in the audience are not like going on with this ridiculous notion. And I don't even know what to say. Like it's even ridiculous for like MAGA Republicans like Ted Cruz to say things like that. Like what arguments are you making? Like this is not even a serious this is very unserious thing to say. And like why would you say anything like that? Like did you seriously think it's gonna like fucking with the audience that, oh yeah, like liberal women are being mad because they are not having unhappy lives in their bedrooms? Like what, even like conservatives, they were not clapping. Like, what? Why would you say that? Like, this just shows that how like lame and like boring person Ted Cruz is. Like, meh. And second of all, that point I was trying to make is that like, why don't you look at the substance? So, well, as I said, it's just misogynistic that that he's accusing only liberal women of being like that. You know, if you look at what's happening in the United States right now, you know, people can be pissed off at many things, like including liberal women. So, like, if you know listen to what they are saying, or I'm you know left leaning, so I tend to agree with most of what they say. But you know, the climate change is disastrous right now. The world is burning, and you know, Biden administration still not doing enough to like reduce fossil fuels and going to the sustainable future. And second of all, people like Ted Cruz and Donald Trump, they're like spewing bigoted nonsense, and there are a lot of like legislations, like anti-trans legislations. Roe versus Wade was overturned, and women's rights are being oppressed in the United States. And Donald Trump might be re-elected again, and that's gonna spew more racism, xenophobia, sexism, transphobia, homophobia, all these bigoted nonsense. So yeah, if you are a rational person, men or women, you would be pissed at things like that. And I'm pissed so too. So that's why I'm making this segment. Like, well, one of the reasons I'm making this segment is just to make fun of Ted Cruz. Like, why would you say things like that? Even the conservative audience is not on board with you on this. So, you know, but like the whole point of me being like me posting like things on YouTube, Twitter, it's to like cause some change in the society, even if it's very small. It's better than doing nothing. So, you know, I'm not a woman, so I'm not the one being addressed here. But you know, Ted Cruz accusing liberal women of like that, like, yeah, look at the substance of what they're mad at. And final thing I want to say is that how like Ted Cruz has gone full MAGA after like he lost in 2016. Like in 2016, you know, there were like a lot of back and forth between him and Donald Trump. Like, I think he accused his dad of like killing JFK or something. Like, he said like very bigoted and rude things about his wife or his children, maybe. I don't remember the specifics of what Trump's attacks were, but like, I'm sure he said like he went personal and attacked Cruz on things like that. But Cruz is like basically doing the same thing, like, you know, not in like specific ways towards like specific individuals, but just like, you know, throwing out this ridiculous notion out of nowhere and just being made fun of by people like me. So Ted Cruz just being weird as always, and even the conservative audience not being on board with him on this ridiculous notion. There you have it. That's all for now. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.